live now on Facebook.
Just checking for the link. Ah, lovely. There we are.
So,
yeah. Not quite live yet. Let me just refresh.
Yeah, it's not showing up my end either.
It is.
Oh, there we are. It's there.
My technical support has just said it's live.
Oh,
I see it too now.
There we go. Posted on mine. Just giving me the twirly wheel. There we go. We're up and running. Yeah. Fantastic. Let me come out of that so I'm not distracted by it.
So, we try and do these lives at different days of the week, Debbie, just while we're waiting for some people to join. And so it's only just turned 6 o'clock. But yeah, we try and vary the days of the week just so that we give people the opportunity who might have other commitments, you know, taking children to their activities in the evening, which is a popular one, their own activities. And England match last night. So thank God we didn't do England last night. So, you know, exactly.
Well, us three would have been on here.
Yeah, and me.
Yeah, I think us three would have been, but maybe not so many people that are attending live. But yeah, so right, we've got a couple of people join. Let's just give it maybe another 30 seconds and then we can kick off.
Yeah, wonderful. So we're not mentioning the weather?
No. It's too hot.
And now we have.
Somebody will watch this back in December and go, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
It rains every day.
Exactly. I don't remember it on June the 26th in 2024.
That's why you need to post it on Facebook so it's going to come back on your memories. You go,
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Awesome. Right. Okay. So thank you, everybody, for those that are joining us live and for those of us that are watching back. So I'm Sarah. I run all Barkshire Dog Training in Reading, and I train dogs from all ages and all breeds across the Berkshire region, with a variety of different, you know, challenges, young, you know, and one-to-one programs. So, Claire.
Hello, I'm Claire. I run Insight Hounds. So we based in the Midlands and work with sight hounds and specialise in X-racing greyhounds. So that's our bag. And I'm very excited about today's guest. So just before I introduce her, I met Debbie a couple of years ago at Crufts. And the moment I met her, I love this lady's energy. I love everything she stands for. And if you're immersed in the dog world like Sarah and I are, on a regular basis in a big way, you can't go to webinars, conferences, anything without Debbie popping up at the moment. Everything she's doing is growing and growing, and it's going to it's such an important cause, and we feel very lucky that she's taken the time out today to spend some time with us and talk to yourself. So Debbie, thank you ever so much for joining us.
Oh my gosh, thank you. That's a fantastic introduction. I'm glad this is recorded as well, so I can listen to it. Every time I'm a bit upset or something, I'm just going to listen to it over and over again.
So right. I was just going to say, obviously, you know, kids around dogs is such an important topic, and you know, there are regrettably incidents that are happening, even, you know, more recently, and so without, you know, focusing on that, we want to help people as much as possible so those incidents become fewer and fewer. So Debbie, if you can give us a little bit of an introduction about who you are, how you set up Kids Around Dogs, and then we can start having a natter with all the questions and queries that we have. And if anyone has any questions, then just pop them on the chat, and we'll get to those later on in the live.
So yeah, my name is Debbie Lacken, and I am a dog behaviorist and a dog trainer. And although I'm based in Dorset, in the south of England, I am actually originally from Switzerland. That's why the accent is Italian, Swiss Italian. And I decided to start Kids Around Dogs because I have a daughter, and I could see that she had friends coming over, and those friends were, you know, when she was much younger as well, those friends were either really, really scared of dogs and would hide or climb on our furniture, literally, or ask to be picked up by their parents if they were there, or screaming, all sorts of really, you know, upsetting reaction. similarly, though, we would also have some kids who were overconfident around dogs. So
That'd be me when I was younger.
I would have been that kid, absolutely. And I wanted to be able to educate those children, because I thought it's fantastic if you love dogs, I'm with you, completely get it. But we need to learn to respect them. And then when I would see children that were scared of dog, I feel for them. I'm like, oh my God, you're going to miss out on the best creature in the whole world, There is nothing better than that. So I was feeling sorry for them, and also for their family, And so I started looking around for something that was like Kids Around Dogs, for an association of professionals that I could join and, spread the love, spread the knowledge of dogs, and be able to work with children and their family and their dogs, and going into schools and all that. And I couldn't find anything in the UK, which was surprising. I knew about Family Paws in the US, and I love everything that Jennifer does. She's the founder of Family Paws. I love that woman, and she knows it. And but I wanted something here. I wanted something close to home as such. And again, couldn't find anything. And so after thinking, studying more, and kind of building what I felt was the right background, then I founded Kids Around Dogs, and it's been brilliant. We have over 200 members now, and they're all absolutely fantastic, fantastic people. To become a chiropractic professional, one has to do an assessment with me, which is a horrible one. But I feel like it's more like a chat to get to know them, so that I know, they're going to be out there working with kids and dogs. And yes, you can show me some things on paper, but I like to see, a friendly person be out there with the kids. And I must say that they all are brilliant, and that really shows how much our industry wants to help kids and dogs to have this beautiful, friendship that they can have.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's believe it or not, we set this up in March, didn't we, when we started talking about it? And then I had that national day, which was Kids and Pets and Dogs Day in April. So there's definitely some association about that close bond and relationship. So if you think about that then, and when you set up the foundation, what do you think are the biggest challenges that families face when they have a dog, no matter whether it's their own dog or where they've got them visiting dogs, or that sort of scenario?
So funny enough, I think a lot of parents will relate to this, is when the kids don't listen. It's like, don't approach the dog, and the first thing they do, they go for the dog straight away. So I think a lot of parents will go, I can relate to that. And on that, I like to maybe give some advice, if I may, is that, and I've done it myself as a parent, right? I've done it. We all, hands up, we all do things like this, which is exactly saying what not to do. Is your instinct to go, no, don't wake up the dog, don't disturb the dog, don't play with the dog's toys, whatever it is, you're stopping the child from doing the thing that is not safe, or is not pleasant, or maybe it's very dirty, or whatever, especially some of the dog's toys. I'm like, I wouldn't touch that. It's like, I'm going to put him in the so the first instinct is, no, don't do that. But actually, even just by saying that normal sentence just naturally comes out, we are highlighting what not to do. So when you're saying, and I'm sure it happens to everyone, when you say, oh, don't look, the first thing you're going to do is go, what? Where am I supposed to look? Is the first thing. So you are actually highlighting the thing you didn't want the kid to do in the first place. And that's really hard. So it's really that second where it's almost better to take a second to think, what am I supposed to do now, rather than act on that instinct and potentially make things worse. So think of what you want your child to do instead. So, for example, the dog's asleep, and that's a very common thing. The dog is sleeping, right? It's bedtime for the kids. Dog is sleeping, and any excuse not to go to bed, the kid will go, I need to go and I need to give the bedtime kiss to the dog. I need to say goodnight to the dog.
Yeah.
You don't need to. We all know that is an extra 30 seconds when the kid can stay up. We all know that's an excuse. But a lot of the parents either go, oh, that is so cute, or they go, no, don't do that. Don't wake up the dog. So either way, what happens or what could happen is that then the child goes to the dog and disturbs you when he's asleep. And we all know that that's not nice. We don't like to be woken up. So we get the dogs. So think what you want your child to do instead, right? Right. Okay. We know we don't want the kiss. We don't want the child to go and wake up the dog. If you think that is a lost cause for you to go, oh, why don't you do something else instead? Like, taking a photo of the dog while he's sleeping, for example, something else that will still take those 30 extra seconds not to go to bed, but is a positive thing. If you think, right, that's not going to work, it's not going to cut it for my child, he really needs to see the dog, then you could call the dog out of the bed. I know it's not nice, don't get me wrong, I know it's not nice, but if you are at the last battle, if you know what I mean, and you're like, oh my gosh, please go to bed, kiddo, and you go, right, okay, we're going to call the dog out. I'll say Winnie because of my dog. Winnie, come, and she'll be like, oh gosh, do I have to? She might be stretching a bit from the bed and looking at you like, not again.
Good training practice, isn't it, for recall?
Yeah.
I love you then. So we could say to the child, oh, look, she's so comfortable. Shall we just wave at her and see if that cuts it? Sometimes it does. Blow her a kiss. Oh, that's so lovely. Take a photo again. You can use my mobile. If they're little as well, that can be an exciting thing. If they're a bit older, not so much. But, let's take a photo of her and say, oh, that's so cute. And if that works, fantastic. Well done. Let's go upstairs. If that is not enough again, then you can call the dog out of the bed. That is still, the dog has time to wake up, maybe stretch, and then make his way to you and to the child. All right, good night, doggy, love you, bye-bye, and off you go. So sometimes you need to really pick your battles. So rather than having the kid go and disturb the dog, that should be really the thing that can happen. Write down a list of the things that you want to happen instead, or you can allow, or that the dog is not going to be upset by. So write it down. With my pug, for example, instead of really waking him up myself, I would go, or my daughter, I will go, we stand up, get some of the treat box, just go, and be like, oh, he's deaf, can't walk very well, he's getting a bit blind, but he'll be coming.
Yeah, the magic wrapper.
Yeah, absolutely.
Noise.
So, and that would work, you see. Then she can say goodnight, and we're all happy.
That's such a fantastic tip. Oh, that's brilliant. So fantastic. It's kind of like what we say in dog training as well, isn't it? Is if you just say no to the dog doesn't actually know what you want them to do. And like you say with the child, if you're just going no, that's then what they're going to want to do. So if you look at actually what experience you want the child to have with the dog and reframe it. I love the photo one as well. It's a game changer. And we've all got loads of photos of our dogs anyway. Just add to it.
Any excuse, isn't it? Any excuse.
No, that's brilliant. I love that. It's fantastic. Thank you.
The thing is that this works also for older kids, like teenagers, because before bed, teenagers are, you as a parent, don't be on your phone. But they can be on their phone for an extra minute to take that photo of the dog, and that is change.
Yeah, that's an Instagram post ready to get their likes, etc.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. I love it. Fantastic. Thank you. So kids around dogs, that's a top tip. What's sort of I know you've got there's quite a few things that Kids and Dogs actually does. So what are the main, give us the bullet points, the main areas that you cover with Kids around dogs, Debbie?
So as I mentioned before, definitely working with kids that are overconfident around dogs, and that is a lot of working with the families and one-to-one or groups. That depends as well on the professional you're working with locally, but definitely is working with the family and the children of all ages, which is really important, because working with 3-year-old is really not the same as working with a 10-year-old. It's a whole an all new game. Just as when you're working with a family who just had a baby, you're not exactly going to work with the baby. you can cuddle the baby while you're there, why not? But, it's a lot to do with the family. logistic, and even the family support, their network of people they have around them. So yes, a lot of kids who are confident around dogs or might become confident around dogs. The fear of dogs is a big thing as well for us. I designed a protocol now 4 years ago on helping children to overcome their fear of dogs, and all our kind of professional learn to use it directly from me. And now we also have the protocol to overcome the fear of dogs in adults too. And again, it's a different thing, but yeah, it's all started with the children. And again, that really started, again, I said it before, because of my daughters. Some of their friends were scared of dogs, and I felt really sad. And also then speaking to their families, really, and to families afterwards, it really stops the fun, takes the fun of the weekends or holidays. Dogs are everywhere. Dogs are in shops, dogs are in restaurants, in some restaurants, dogs are at the beach, at the park, everywhere, and at the school gate, and in a lot of schools as well, which is something else that we specialize in. So I felt really sad for those children and their dogs as well in their lives. And a lot of the time as well, parents thought, oh, we're going to adopt a puppy because our kid is scared of dogs, and having a dog is going to sort it out. But actually, that can be quite detrimental to the fear even more. I'm not saying it doesn't work. It might have worked in some situation. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but it does come at a price for the mental health of the child. So, and also of the dog ultimately. So if your kid or someone in your family is scared of dogs, please don't go and get a dog thinking that's the reason. Hold on. And also then some families would return the dog to the breeder or rehome the dogs because the relationship is not worked out and is then is a mess. So the fear of dogs is quite big in kids around dogs as well. And school dogs, which I briefly mentioned as well, and anything to do with schools or associations such as like brownies or rainbows, any scouts. We not only we do school talks, but we also train dogs that will have more of a permanent position within the school. They're often called school dogs, or also is a canine assisted instructor or educator. So the dog effectively is there to support the children, support the teachers, absolutely, the teachers. And the dog can help, say, a child that might be a bit anxious coming into school at the beginning of the day. The dog can be that happy reward in a way, or a happy motivation for them to go in. They often assist as well with day-to-day situation. I gave this example to someone recently about the fact that my daughter didn't like to have her hair brushed, right? So we literally use the dog to go, look, Winnie's getting her hair combed.
Really?
With the same brush. When desperation hits, it's hard.
Absolutely.
But these are our example as well. Our kids never wash their hands, so they're, oh my gosh. So you go into school and they go to the bathroom or before lunch, and you really need to try to go wash their hands, but they're just standing by the sink waiting. So the fact that the dog gets goes to the salon, or if we clean them, or we use wipes as well to clean their fur and things like this, to show the children, look, the dog does it, so can you, in a way, so it can be without pushing the kids or anything, but it can be an extra motivation or someone for them to almost mirror in a way, because they go, oh, we love the dog so much, and if the dog gets his fur brushed, if the dog gets his teeth brushed, that kind of thing, then I can do it too, because of the love that they come to have for the dogs. But also academically as well, dogs are very helpful really in the home as well as in school. Reading is the most common thing, I believe. Reading to dogs is quite a common practice. And I used it myself very often, especially when Molly was starting school and she was starting to read, and they were then assigning little books and stuff. The extra motivation was reading to the dogs. And it was brilliant. Then we actually adopted a cat, and then it was adding the cat to the equation.
Extra page out of
but I must say, it's lovely though. I was like more of a listener than a reader myself in that, but it's lovely to see that the dogs really enjoyed it. They were sitting there taking a nap. It was really relaxing. And I would sometimes have to rest my eyes.
It's a good mindfulness technique then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Throw that in as well. So funny.
Brilliant.
So many activities that dogs can do in the home or again in schools that can help to the parents to bring the kids up. The dogs is not helping as in the dog is going to be your nanny, because that's not the case. You always need to supervise.
Yeah, it's not Peter Pan.
No, it's not Peter Pan.
It's a shame.
Not that. But it does. You can call the dog up for assistant as an assistant in parenting. As such. And when everything fails, you go, gosh, at least I've got the dogs.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. I love it. There's so much in there that you're doing. It's incredible. It's just good to sit and listen all day.
I could talk about it for a long time.
It's fascinating. It's brilliant.
I'll have to get you back if we run out of time, won't we?
Yeah, we're gonna have to go for a double one. So, Debbie, have you got any top tips? So, I haven't got children myself, but I have friends that have got children that will come and visit, and I've got quite a lot of customers that have maybe got friends that visit or grandchildren, or they have children themselves. Have you got any top tips for sort of interactions with children and dogs, and maybe a couple of real do's, don'ts? I mean, I love what you've said about don't say no. Rephrase it to what you do want. I think that I'm taking everywhere with it. With me, I think that's absolutely brilliant. But yeah, have you got any top tips for managing those situations and knowing what to do in them?
So first of all, I love what you said. The fact that although you don't have children yourself, it doesn't really matter, because we all have some child around. When you think about it, could be the neighbor, could be someone in the family, could be a friend, or simply you walk down at the park and chances are you are going to come across a kid, or at the park there is a group of children, whatever. But it's impossible to think that your dog is never going to meet a child. It's literally impossible. So it's important to be mindful of that and ready, even if you don't have, or the dog doesn't live with the child every day.
Yeah.
The first thing would be considering the age of the child. So if you are, for example, a friend that's just had a baby, for instance, that is a completely new or different thing than an older child. So in that case, it's a lot about the parents. Parents, again, like I said before, be ready to step in at any time as such. Always supervise, and when dealing with the baby, be between the dog and the baby effectively. So it's not about, the baby's in bed, for example, is in the cot or whatever, and I can just leave the room because the cot has those bars, everything's going to be fine. Dogs can jump. So don't forget that. So in a situation like this, close the door, make sure that the door is actually closed. And if you have the clever dogs that can move the handle, lock it. It's fine. Have obviously baby monitor and everything, is obviously, but or have the dog downstairs again in stair gates. All these kind of things are really, really important and can really be your best friend. Even when the baby is no longer a baby and is a toddler or whatever, you still having to maybe do some work or maybe do some cooking, or you want to look at your phone for 5 minutes, whatever can get you through the day when you're a bit tired, and you go, I'm just gonna look at my phone for a minute, and it's fine. The baby or the toddler is playing with whatever he's playing with, cubes or toys, whatever. But if the dog is in the house, you need to be mindful of that. So have the dog with something is allowed to have, like a West Paw toy, for example, or a Richmond thing. They're there, they're doing their thing, and there is a stair gate, a door, patio door, whatever. to effectively divide the child and the dog.
Yeah.
You can also have a playpen, put the baby in the playpen, and the dog has his space, does his thing, goes to the toilet, whatever he wants to do. But there is a nice separation there. For older children, and by older I mean like age 2.5, 3, you can already start. Involve them in the activities. They can even be younger effectively than that. It depends on the child. But involve them, get them to change the water. I remember when Molly was little, I would like, right, let's put some fresh water for Pixel, our first dog, and she would make a lake. There was around, and it was like being in Scotland. There were lakes everywhere. But there was also fresh water in the bowl that she did herself. And it took something between 10 to 20 minutes for her. It was a great activity, great fun. She was doing something for her dog, which is lovely. And then we put the bowl down, and there you go. The dog had some fresh water. Fantastic. And she did that all by herself. Well, with my presence there, of course. But I didn't need to touch the water much, because she could handle the tap, obviously make sure there's the cold one or the hot one, all this kind of thing that as a parent you need to be careful of, but get them involved. When they're a little bit older, they can do training as well. Training is a fantastic bonding experience for us adults and the dog, and for kids too. What you want is that the bonding or the training and the activities are relaxing, like enrichment, some lovely positive manners, things like this, so that the child, yes, can play with the dog, that's fine, but I don't want the dog to think, oh, the child is just my playmate, all we do is play and there is nothing else, because then the dog will just go nuts every time he sees the kid, and we can't have that really. So instead, by doing training, by doing some enrichment, by doing some calming experience, even just sitting on a bench with the dog is a calming thing. Things like this, then the dog goes, yeah, I play with my kid, but I also answer when he asks me for something. Or I'm also sitting when she's eating, for example, which is a big thing, or lie down when she's eating, or lie down next to her as well when we're watching TV, these kind of things. So it doesn't always have to be, the kids are here, it's fun time.
And that, I think, everyone thinks about the kids and the dogs always like touching, and that's obviously where some of the risks get involved as well, because you're handling them incorrectly, and so that I hadn't considered how many activities there are you can do without actually having any physical contact with the dog. And even some of those things can be done behind stair gates and things like that, where you're still working with the dog, but at a distance as well, aren't you? But being very involved.
There is so much, and to be fair, even like one of the big thing as well is when the kid come down in the morning, right? In the morning, maybe the dog was asleep downstairs, and the kids come down for breakfast or getting ready for school, whatever, and the dog just goes nuts, right? Oh my gosh, I'm here all night. When the kid is like, I'm still half asleep, but the dog is a completely different level of crazy. So what we can do there, for instance, is having a little pot of treats by the stairs, have a staircase at the bottom, so the kid come down, gets a bunch of the treats and chuck them to the floor for the dog. So the dog goes, what's that? And he's distracted, munching away, while the kid then can get his way. And that helps the dog to relax. So he's sniffing the treat, and that sniff can help to calm down the brain, finding them, and then goes, oh, I'm a little bit calmer now. It could also be a toy or something else if the treats don't come.
We love a game of Find It, don't we, Claire? I mean, I know.
Scatter feeding, Find It, anything like that. It's just
it's definitely one of the fundamental training elements that we do. So
and I wanted to say as well, on the touching the dog is an inevitable thing. Kids will want to do that. If you go to our website, kidsareondogs.co.uk, there is a part where you can download some posters, and there is one on where is appropriate to touch a dog, so that they can also see the chest, and the under the chin is and the back is a good one, head, paws and tail. not so much.
Not so good, yeah.
And tummy only reserved for really exclusive people. So that you know, families can also find there some information, other posters as well that can be helpful.
That's great.
That's fabulous. And
I was
talking about resources, I was going to say resources. We love a resource.
That's the word, resource.
I believe you're now a published author as well, Debbie.
Oh my gosh, I am. In February, my book came out, and it's called It Started With a Sit. I've got here a copy. It's always with me.
Yeah, go on, show us. Love it.
So I'm very happy with it. It was a dream of mine to write a book that could help families and kids and dogs. And this is my story from pre-pregnancy to when Molly was about 4, so the very first year as well. And this my how it was for me. But then after each chapter, there are also key points to help families on a more professional level to say, you know, this is what is appropriate to do and stuff like that. And I'm currently writing the second book that is for school years children. So that will then be from 4 to 5 to about 10, 11. So preteen, before the preteen years.
Oh, fantastic. So, no, that's great. So we'll have to put a link to your website so people can get hold of some of those resources.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And the book. Yeah, we'll do a link to the book. That's fantastic. Thank you. So just checking my notes, because I know there's loads of stuff we wanted to cover, and we're covering it. We may have to get you back because there's so much to do. And I love that about where to touch the dogs. I think that's just really important stuff. So you mentioned about active supervision as well being something that was really important, and I know that was something you were keen to bring up, because there's often lots of, we talked about when we had our sort of pre-talk about this, we were talking about there's top 10 breeds for kids around dogs, top 10 breeds for this, top 10, but every dog is an individual and there's different personalities and so on and so forth. And I know, Ashley, what's your one thing, if you could give somebody a piece of advice to take away with it, it's all about active supervision. So do you want to expand on that?
Yeah. So supervision is often a little bit misunderstood, right? Because a lot of parents think, but I was there, right? And I get it. You might have been in the room, but maybe you were on the phone. Maybe you were looking at the book. Maybe you were chatting with a friend, a guest, whatever. Maybe you were watching Peppa Pig, whatever it was. Or maybe you were in the kitchen. The kids and dogs were there, but you were cooking. And I don't know about you, but when I'm cooking, I'm quite distracted. You know, I need to measure things and just make sure that I don't burn the house down and all that. So when I'm doing something else, I can't exactly concentrate entirely on another thing. And in fact, it's been proven that multitasking is not really a thing. It doesn't really exist, even for us women.
Wow.
You can't completely focus on more than one thing, literally the brain. You can keep an eye on things, but not completely be there. So when it comes to kids and dogs, I highly recommend to really be there. Put the phone away, put the book away. You know, the telly can be on, but you're not gonna really watch it. And just interact, be there for that interaction. They want to play, fantastic, play with them. You want your baby and your dog to bond, fantastic, be between them so that you can really make sure that your dog is happy. You're giving them a little cuddle if they want to, and make sure that your baby is happy and not crying and everything. If you're feeding the baby and your dog is just fine to sleep in there, that's perfectly fine. It can be there. You're there physically. But if you're worried, especially if you maybe just had your baby and you're breastfeeding, it's really hard, you don't know what you're doing, then in that case, have the dog somewhere else with your partner if possible, or in another space, but concentrate on that activity, because you won't be able to concentrate on two things. So active supervision means to really be there, mind and body.
Great. Fantastic advice there, Debbie. Thank you very much indeed. So while I was listening, I noticed on your website that the book is actually, I've got an offer at the moment on the Kindle version.
Yes. Oh, well, yeah. It's free. If you got the Kindle, it's free. So Please read
Yeah.
it, and if you have read it or if you're going to read, please leave me a review. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Like
So
the
we'll
book.
make sure that we get all of those links on there. But I thought it might be worth letting people know that today, the 26th of June 2024, just in case somebody watches this back, it was free and is currently free.
Hopefully it's free for a little bit longer. I haven't worked out like how long it's an Amazon thing. They allow you to do it. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I can do it.
They're a law unto themselves, aren't they, Amazon? But yeah, and obviously, you know, that's great. You've got some handouts. You've got obviously the book, which is brilliant, and we'll actively wait and look forward to seeing your next book. But I know personally a very close trainer that I know is accredited. And you know, as a trainer with kids around dogs, and so obviously if I working with anybody myself, I would be working with this particular trainer, Ali, in order to refer people on to, and it's lovely to have those people in there. And I think, Claire, you necessarily, you know, were keen to find out, you know, others in the similar situation.
Yeah, so I know via your website I can find the trainers that are local, and also I'm very lucky to know Debby. so yeah, I've got any questions or queries. I know an expert. I'm not an expert myself, but I know one. Yeah. So no, we can always.
So ask Claire or I, but obviously the website's a good place to go. Should you be watching this not in the sort of Midlands or Berkshire or Dorset region, but there are trainers that are out there that are qualified with Debby that can give you that assistance and support, as well as the materials that we can find online, which is fantastic too. And I know you were at Crufts early this year, but have you got any other shows coming up, Debby, that we may need to want to promote?
She's at Edition Dog Show down the road from us. Very excited about that one. I know that one.
Last year I couldn't make it. My cousin was getting married, so I couldn't go. Right. But this year I'm all over Coventry. So yeah, it's gonna be is it the 25th of August, isn't it? I remember.
I believe so. Yes.
25th of August in Coventry, and is the Edition Dog event. And then in October, I want to say the 3rd of October, there is the PACT conference.
Oh, yes.
There as well. Did it last year, was fantastic. So that's also another brilliant event. And then back at Crufts.
Oh, you're back at Crufts again. Fantastic.
Yeah.
We'll make sure we put those links to those events as well, Debby. So should people want to come and say hello, that they can get to meet you as in person and ask you directly should they need to.
And I'm sure if they've got a copy of your book, you would sign it for them as well.
I sit with my book like this. That's my book.
Exactly. Oh, well, look, I don't have any other questions, Claire. I think Debby, you've been very thorough in providing us.
I've just had a little quick check while we were talking, and nothing's jumped out at me. But no, I've learned so much. It's been a fabulous half an hour or so. I've learned loads, and really useful insight, really useful information. So thank you so much for sharing that, Debby. And
thank you for having me.
And we'll definitely be looking forward to the next book as well, and getting you back on. And I think it's such a big topic, and so much you do. It's just we haven't even touched on sort of like neurodiverse children and lots of other things that you do. So no, that's absolutely fabulous. Thank you so much for your time. As I said, it's been so useful, and I've learned so much. It's been fantastic.
Oh, brilliant.
Great. Well, thank you everyone who watches this video, and get in touch if you've got any questions. So have a nice evening, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.